What's up, bro? Your failures are making you weak, but not because of the failures themselves, but how you react to them. You've heard this a million times, but the reason it gets repeated so much is because people don't listen. Failure is good. Inherently, it is good for you. It may not feel that way at first, but I see failure as essentially stripping back the person you are now, accepting the person you are now as inferior, and working to get to that next level. Through being humble, through accepting, and through progressing. I've said it before and I will say it again. Failure is not an excuse to give up, but an opportunity to get better. When we fail, our first response, myself included, is usually self-hatred, self-doubt, aggression, fed-upness. And let me tell you this right now, that's a good thing. Most people will tell you that that's not how you should be. You should be upset with yourself. You fucked up. Do you know why? Because that shows that you give a shit. If every time you failed, you just went, oh, just a failure, brush it off and move on, you wouldn't get better because you keep excusing yourself. Now, I'm not talking about self-hatred. I'm not saying you look in the mirror and say, fuck you. I'm not saying that. But you need to find the fine line between not hating yourself, but not excusing yourself. As soon as you fail, you need to look in the mirror and say, you failed, and that disappoints me, and you need to be better. Don't say, I'm going to be better. Because sometimes, and I used to do this, you can cope with failure by convincing yourself all the things you're going to do. Okay, but I'm going to be better this time. But until you actually do it, you are not that. Say less, do more. If you can hear screaming, there's some angry Scottish people outside, but I'll keep going. Maybe he failed. You fail. You look at yourself in the mirror and you accept that you failed. Now, what average people do? Say they're building up a streak, a no-fap streak or a gym streak, or something they're working on really, really hard and they let it slip. And the failure is undoubtedly their fault. They were tempted and they fell. It's so tempting to give up or to take your foot off the gear because it feels like you're back on square one. It feels like all that progress was for nothing and you just fucked your past self. That progress will be for nothing if you give up, if you view it that way. To be better than average, you not only have to avoid average mistakes, but when you make them, you have to respond to them in a non-average way. The average person gives the fuck up as soon as things start getting difficult, and that includes when he starts to fail. So what? You've had a month or so of being really driven. Maybe you've eat cleanly, you've been to the gym as much as you can, you've not fucking wanked or whatever. And yeah, that's been difficult, but you've been motivated, you've been proud of yourself, and you felt on top of the world, you felt better than average. That's not the hard part. If you want to prove to yourself that you're dedicated, that you really want this, then you need to keep this momentum going when you don't feel like it, when you feel like shit, when your self-perception image of yourself has been lessened because of a failure. Most people take that image, that lesser, and they go, well, that's me now. I guess I'm just shit. That perception is a choice. You can say to yourself, I refuse to let this failure make me worse. I'm going to make it make me better. And yeah, maybe the next day at the gym, you're going to feel a bit more shit in yourself, but you pump out the workout anyway because you're proving to yourself you want this no matter what you feel like. When you're at your worst, when you're at your best, you're still going to turn up and do the work. Your failures don't make you weak. If you let them, if you make them, they can make you better. They can make you strong. Failures are a beautiful thing because when you have a streak of working towards this goal and you're doing well, you're making good progress, you're feeling great in yourself, it's sometimes hard to remember that you are human. And this doesn't excuse what you do. But when you make a failure, you realize your weaknesses and you have two choices. You can either let them identify you, which is stupid. You've had this whole month of working hard and what this one failure now means, that's all for nothing. No, that's not. You probably heard this analogy before. Say someone that's overweight is going to the gym. Imagine telling them you can work out every day for the next 2-3 months, but if you skip one day, you'll go right back to being fat again. That's not how it works. That would be how it works if they skip that one day, think it's all for nothing, then go exactly back to what they were like before. You see the difference? As you get stronger, as you get better at resisting your urges will get stronger too. Because life will test you based on how strong you are. The more you resist something, the stronger the urge will get. And eventually, in my experience, you're most likely to slip up when everything is going well. When you feel on top of the world. When you feel like you're in control. And the failure that is there to remind you that you are not. That you have to fight every single day. That it's never going to be easy. And you accept that. You take it on the chin. You pick yourself the fuck back up and you get going the next day. And then when you get to that point again, you'll be even stronger. And guess what? There'll be even more challenges and failures to face. But with that comes beautiful, sweet progress. And when you look back at all your failures and trace them from one failure to the next, you realize that you've just been doing this. Because like I said, you didn't see failure as an excuse to give up, but an opportunity to get better. Bro, I believe in you. Keep improving with me and say less, do more.